So these are more layoffs from Square Enix, but I have to be honest, while this is good news for Square Enix, if they don't get rid of the ethics department that is still operating on Japan, if they don't get rid of that ethics department, then nothing is going to change because they are the ones responsible for all the censorship we see on pretty much every new release from Square Enix. A good example of this is the Dragon Quest III remake. With all the censorship the game went through in terms of character designs, in terms of body type A and B, you will see that kind of censorship also on the Final Fantasy VII remakes. So if they don't get rid of that ethics department, nothing is going to change. But we'll keep talking about that more later. Let's start with this news. Two PR directors have been laid off by Square Enix. Former Blizzard and senior director of PR at Square Enix, Ryan Arbogast, who was with Square Enix for 14 years. Then we have PR director Emily Choji, who was with Square Enix for 15 years. Square Enix seems to be laying off people directly related to communication and feedback. And this is interesting because something that Westerners do whenever they decide to work for Asian developers is that they try to gaslight them into thinking that if they don't push a certain ideology, they are going to get backlash. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. This is Kim Belair, and this is her back in 2019 on a GDC conference, Game Developer Conference.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
And that's pretty much crystal clear evidence of what I'm talking about. We also have GDC 2017, where you can read, video games are political. The way we make games is political. The way that we teach our students to make games is political. So going back to what I was saying, maybe Square Enix understood that and they are kicking these people out because they are just tired of being told what they have to do with their video games. They are tired of the censorship. Or maybe they just saw how much money they have been losing over the years. They are pretty much giving up on their Western focus, but it's all speculation. We can also speculate the fact that maybe since now they have a new prime minister, they are losing the fear and they are doing pretty much what needs to be done in order to save a company. Next, we have Square Enix Collective, a division of Square Enix that handles publishing, marketing, and support for independent game devs, laid off 4 employees. And here we have Izzy Jagan, who was a global PR manager at Square Enix. Then we have Caris Gaskin, who was a brand specialist at Square Enix Collective. Then we have Tom Parker, producer, Square Enix Collective. Then we have Katie Mack, assistant producer at Square Enix. And something in common that these people have is that they are all from the UK. And this is interesting because right now the current state of the UK is horrible. It's pretty much an ideological void. So the fact that Square Enix is getting rid of so many people from the UK, that's very, very telling. And it's safe to say that most of these people are activists. And here we have a little bio from Izzy Jagan that reads, Izzy's love for video games has been lifelong, and her passion is doubled by the drive to bolster diversity, equity, and inclusion in all areas of the video games industry. Her goal being to play even a small part in making the industry accepting and welcoming to all. These are the people getting laid off from Square Enix, a bunch of activists. And also there's something else to keep in mind because this happened just recently. The Japanese government has released a new entertainment policy proposal to protect anime, manga, and gaming from censorship and political meddling from Western countries. And this will also include gaming content. And this image is perfect to show you what type of control Western companies have over Japanese developers. Because imagine altering the work of Akira Toriyama just to comply with Western demands, which is again all about activism. You have to censor this, you have to change that word, you have to censor that, and it's a never-ending story whenever you want to work with a Western company or the Western industry. So the fact that now Japan is doing this, is making these new policies, that's good news in general. Because all of this may be related to what's happening at Square Enix. And next we have Yusuke Aruguchi, who is a localization project manager in the Japanese branch, and he seems to be affected by the Square Enix layoffs. He stated, "They take into account overseas cultures and trends, and even consult with the development team to change the character appearances and game content." And aside from that, he said something very interesting, and it reads, "One major difference between them and the development team's project manager is that they must communicate extensively in English and always view the game from the perspective of overseas users and markets. When releasing an international version, simply translating the domestic version as is can lead to various problems. The localization project manager works with translators to identify potential issues, coordinate corrections with the development team, and manage the entire international version project." And with that being said, all of this is very interesting because Square Enix is blatantly getting rid of many activists that have been working for Square Enix for a very long time, and that's something that no other gaming company has been able to do. So I'm very excited to see the results of all of this for Square Enix. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to help me grow. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and see you on the next one. Take care everybody. Bye bye.